Hey Steve, this is Buck Crockett. I wanted to first off just start by thanking you for responding to my last email in regards to including win-loss rate data and present river use statistics presentation you compile each year. And I hear you. You say it could be a bit misleading. So, my follow-up question for you, I want to just kind of display that geographically, is then when we look at the 2016 PDF, there's not any data that shows how many applicants there are for each lottery, in contrast with how many winners there are and how many losers. This data is listed at the bottom of the lottery statistics. You write overall 5,500 applications competing for 472 launch opportunities, but there's nothing to display that data graphically. So my simple request would be to include, if you would, this would be something you'd consider, include a chart like this where you show, and especially if it's web-based, where you show how many applications there are and how many losers there are for each. So you could have a bar for the total, for the main lottery, and then each subsequent lottery. And after which you could also have a page that shows the total winners. And by doing so, you're just adding a level of transparency to, use your words, where the public can clearly see, in the 2017 lottery year, there are 15,222 applications and only 640 winners. And they can see that there's a really small group of winners and in contrast to the really big group of applications. And that's the case across every single lottery throughout the year. So my request is, I think this could add transparency. And if you don't want to, put a number on it with a win-loss rate for view of let's go, what word should you use? Misleading, for view of being misleading, absolutely understand. One other question for you in regards to your data, since we're on the topic of potentially things being misleading, is let me scroll up. Here we go. How many applicants ended up on trips? And then we have, and these are, I assume that this NC means non-commercial trips. This is a very telling graphic, right? It's sending the message that most people who apply to the lottery, or 31% of the people who applied to the main lottery ended up on a non-commercial trip in the same year, and 29% of the people who applied in the main lottery ended up on a commercial trip in the same year, right? And you show for 2016 that 400, let's round up for even numbers, about 400 of those were trip leaders, and about 1,000 of those were participants, right? What you don't show, and I think this is a little misleading, is how many applicants from the other lotteries ended up on trips. And we know anecdotally that would drive that percent down, right? Let's take a look at the 2017 data for an example. In the 2017 lottery data so far, we know that there were 5,550 applications in the main lottery, right? But the total, if we take the total applications for all the other follow-up lotteries, add them up, we get to 9,676. And so the number of follow-up applications in the 2017 year, at least, is two times, just about two times, what the main lottery application volume was. So that would, if you displayed the data, for total applications for the entire year, not just one of the, in this case, 12 lotteries of the year, people would see that, in fact, this percentage is much lower. It definitely won't be in the 29th percentile in 2017 because there was more applicants. But if you included all 15,000 applications, it was three times this size, right? We could anecdotally say that this percent would go down by 2/3 and be around 10%. So just curious if you would consider including a graphic like that, because only in no other place do you, or besides this report, does the park release the numbers for applicants who went on a trip the same year. Another big question too would be how many people who apply to the lottery go on a commercial trip. I know you should have this data in the SQL database you guys have. It would be really helpful to be able to contrast those numbers as well. So hope this helps. I'll cut it there. Just reiterate my questions one more time. The first one is, could you include a graphic like this in the 2017 river use statistics presentation that shows how many winners there are and how many losers, in contrast to, and it'd be a 2-page thing, in contrast to the total applications. And then, of course, the other question is can you include the total applications for the entire calendar year when you do your win on a non-commercial trip calculation and convert that to a percentile, as well as total applications compared to people who went on a commercial river trip in the same year. It'd be really interesting to see that data. So again, thanks for everything you do for Grand Canyon National Park. I really appreciate the statistics you work so hard to compile annually. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.